Hi everyone, so I'm finally back with a tutorial and this one is a pink themed smoky eye. I'm beginning with priming my skin, so I'm using the 17 three-way highlighter to prime my skin. It just gives me an illuminated base. I'm also going to put a mattifying primer onto areas where I get oily and I have kind of larger pores, so I'm going to put that underneath my eyes, around my cheek area, and then the center of my forehead, nose and chin, and this is just going to keep my oils at bay. I'm using the LA Girl Pro Concealer. This is a colour correcting one, so it's a yellow shade. So I put this on my blemishes and scarring and then I just bounce it out with a Penny's Beauty Blender. I'm then taking the Revlon Colour Stay Foundation in Sand Beige and I'm just going to buff that all over with a Flawless Kabuki brush. For priming my eyes, I'm using my usual trusty Essence concealer, and I'm just going to put this all over my lids and blend it out, and this will just colour correct my eyes and give me a nice clean base to begin with. I'm going to set the primer with a face powder because I always do this because it gets rid of the tackiness and gives me a smooth base for my eyeshadows to blend onto. For eyes, I'm going to do tape, and I did my brows off camera because I did a brow tutorial, but I will link that down below. The first shade I'm using is this kind of taupe shade from Fuschia, and I'm going to start this off in the crease and then smoke it up towards my brow bone, and this is going to be our first transition colour. I'm then taking Pink Earth, also from Fuschia, and this is a more mauve shade, and I'm going to again first place it into the crease, and I am going to blend it up towards that taupe shade to give us a nice fade. The next colour I'm taking is Savage from the Urban Decay Electric palette, and it is a neon pink shade. I'm using a fluffy brush to build this up into the crease, so I just slowly built up the colour and until I got it as intense as I want it to be. Next I'm taking the Violet Voss Holy Grail palette and the shade Wine and Dine, which is a nice cranberry colour. This is going onto the outer half of my eye, just the outer crease area, and then also the outer third area, and I'm just kind of slowly building up that colour, and then I go back in and blend it to make sure that it's not too harsh, and then I went back in and just kind of re-intensified the colour a small bit just to make sure that the outer third was as dark as I wanted it to be. The next colour I'm taking is Cherry Cola from Makeup Geek, and this is just a darker kind of cranberry plum shade. And this is going to be used with a denser brush to darken up the outer V, kind of outer third area of the eye, just to add more dimension and shape to the look and make it look a little bit more smoky. For the lid, I'm using a loose mineral eyeshadow from Fuschia, and this is Pixie. It's like a shimmery pale pink and it just goes perfect with the look. So I just pat on a very small amount of Inglot's duraline and then I pack on the pigment on top, and I just find that duraline intensifies the shimmery and just gives the pigment something to stick to. You don't have to go with that, but it's just a technique I like to use. I'm then taking a fluffy brush and just running it through the crease because you all know I don't like shimmer being in my crease area, so I just use this to kind of dust away the majority of it. Now I'm taking Sketch from MAC, and I did my liner off camera. Well, I actually did it on camera, but I was out of frame, so I had to cut it out, so I'm very sorry, but I just followed the lid and then used the tape as a guideline for the wing, and now I'm darkening up the outer V with MAC Sketch just to darken it up a bit more, and then I take a very small amount of black. This is from Fuschia and it's called Leah, and I'm going to use a small pencil fluffy brush, and I'm just darkening up exactly where the kind of crease and liner meet just to make it a bit more dramatic. Then I'm just making sure that it is nice and blended, and now I'm going to highlight the brow bone, and I mix two shades from the Violet Voss palette, Crystal and Ploof, and it just gives me like a pinky kind of highlight shade, and I'm just going to run that onto the brow bone area. And then taking the first brush I used and just blending the outer edges to make sure there's a nice fade from the brow bone to the crease colour shades. I'm then removing my tape, and I'm using the Collection Lasting Perfection concealer in the lightest shade to highlight underneath my eyes and the centre points of my face, so the usual chin, bridge of the nose and centre of the forehead. I then used my Penny's mini beauty blender to just bounce that out, and I used a small detailer brush from Blank Canvas to sharpen up the concealer by the wing area. To set the concealer, I'm using the highlight shades from the Fuschia Megan Highlight and Contour palette. So these are just two matte shades, and I'm going to use that to set all the highlighted areas. And then I forgot to take a shot of this, but I used the MAC Studio Fix powder in NC25 to set the rest of my face. So I just pack that on with like a synthetic brush, and I just think it sets my foundation really, really well. It's a new favourite. Now I'm taking Pink Earth and a really fluffy brush to really smoke this onto the lower lash line quite down a bit. Then I'm taking N Dine and doing the exact same thing, really smoking it out because I want the lower lash line to be just as intense and dramatic as the top eye. Then for Cherry Cola, I'm using a smaller, denser brush just so that I can get closer to the lower lash line and make it more intense. And then I'm using the Fuschia Luxe Cream Gel Liner in black, and I'm applying that to my waterline. And then I'm going in with the black shade from Fuschia called Leah, and I'm going to smoke that along the lower lash line for extra drama. For the inner corner, I'm using the Catrice highlighter in Light Infusion, and this is just a pinky toned highlighter, and I just think it goes really nicely with the look. I just apply that onto the inner corner, and I apply a few layers just to build it up, as I feel like you need to do that with this highlighter, and that's just going to open up my eyes and really brighten them. For lashes, I'm using the Kiss Ritzy lashes, and I'm applying them with some duo glue. Then I'm just going over the liner again just to make sure it's not disturbed too much. And for bronzer, I am using my all-time favourite bronzer. I actually think this is, it's the Makeup Gallery from Deals. It's only $1.50 and I just love it. I just think it like melts into the skin and looks so nice. I'm then contouring with the Megan face kit from Fuschia, and I'm using that shade to just chisel out and kind of sculpt my face around my cheekbones, my temple area, underneath my nose and underneath my lip as well. For blush, I'm using the Golden Sugar palette from Makeup Revolution, and I'm mixing the two kind of illuminating blush shades, and I'm going to pop them up along my cheeks. I'm using that Catrice highlighter again for my highlight, and I use a fan brush from Blank Canvas for this because I feel like it really needs to be buffed into the skin to add a glow. So I put that on the tops of my cheeks, cupid bow, and also down the bridge of my nose as well, and it just gives a nice glow. And then just popping on lower mascara. For my lips, I'm using the Penny's Dark Pink lip liner, and I'm just going to line and fill in my lips with this. And then the lipstick I'm using is the Matte Me Lip Cream from Sleek Cosmetics, and it's in the shade Velvet Slipper. It's sort of like a pinky plummy shade. I just thought it went really, really nicely with the actual look. I think like most nudes and pinky shades would suit this look. Maybe not a red, but I just decided to go with this one, and I think it suits it quite nicely. That is the finished look, guys. I really hope you enjoyed it. I'm sorry it took me so long to get back to tutorials, but I'm glad I'm back. I have a bit of a cold at the minute in case you haven't noticed, but I am powering through sneezing in between takes. If you did enjoy the video, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up. If you like my videos, subscribe down below and you will get to see more of them. And as always, thank you so much for watching, guys. Bye.